teach me for not actually being
Certainty of
ready
death,
to.
small chance of success. What are we waiting for?
Fellas, I feel this is my lucky day.
Brilliant.
Hey, and welcome to another episode of Rankum. This is a bit of an early one today, but it's still going to be a fun one, talking about Jim Carrey movies. And over here we've got Jacob. Jacob, how's it going?
It's going well. I enjoy me some Jim Carrey, so I'm excited to be on this one.
And also here we've got Stephen. Stephen, how's it going?
It's going well, yeah. He hasn't really done much with the exception of Sonic lately, but I've seen most of his stuff and I've liked a lot of his stuff, so yep, looking forward to this.
Yeah. After reading a lot of his sort of interviews, like he's been very sort of selective with what he's been doing lately. And honestly, it's quite fitting. It ended up being him, considering he's talking about potentially retiring, but only from acting. So it's somehow fitting this got picked. But that being said, how Rankin works is we go around and each nominate the movie we think belongs on this list, and then we say yes or no to whether it makes it or not, and then at the end we rank them. But Jacob, I'm going to go to you first.
All right. So I think I'll go with the pick that I actually just finished watching like 2 minutes ago. Like it was a rewatch. I've watched this movie several times and it's always fun. That's The Mask. I think this movie is so entertaining. I think Jim Carrey gives a wildly hilarious performance in this movie. Whether he is the Mask or he's Stanley Ipkiss, I think the performance is great. It's almost like he's playing two different characters that at the end sort of meld into one, and I think it's just a fun journey getting there. Introduces Cameron Diaz in a pretty good role. All the Mask stuff is just fun. It's almost like a live action cartoon character, and it's just great. I love this movie. I think it should be definitely should be on the top
12. Stephen, what do you say about The Mask?
Yeah, I love this movie. I think Jim Carrey is great in it. What's the name of the actor who plays the main bad guy? Peter Green, is it? He's great. Cameron Diaz is great. The special effects are still hold up. The dog is actually probably one of the better movie dogs. So it's definitely a yes for me.
And yes, it is Peter Green.
Yeah. But yeah, The Mask is great. There's not much more I can sort of add. Just say I think we can all agree that The Mask is very underrated. I mean, I'm not being serious.
I've never seen it.
I know it's a joke, but I still almost left.
But yeah, The Mask is going to make this on the list. Stephen, we go to you next.
All right, I'm going to bring up, I think, one of his most underrated and definitely his most overlooked movie, and that's The Majestic, with directed by Frank Darabont, and he stars as a blacklisted screenwriter who is accused of being a communist, and he ends up getting amnesia from a car accident, and in this town where they think he's this war hero that's been missing for like over 9 years, and I think it's one of his best performances. I think it's a very inspiring movie. It's very moving. I think it's one of Jim Carrey's best performances, and it's a shame it never got the respect it deserved, because It's just a great movie. So Majestic is my first pick.
Yeah, I actually haven't seen this. It's just because it just hasn't really been showing up anywhere streaming. But just sort of looking at it on thing is it only made $37 million worldwide. But
Yeah.
as I said, like when it was released in that period of time where you had Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter, Jimmy Neutron, Boy Genius, and Ocean's 11 sort of coming out around that same time. So I mean,
Yeah.
I don't
Also,
blame it for kind of being lost.
also it's got Laurie Holden and I can't remember the name of the actor, but those two have been together in a lot of movies. It seems because they were both in The Mist, they're both in this, and they were both in The Walking Dead.
But Jacob, what do you say about the Majestic?
Yeah, unfortunately, I haven't seen this one yet.
Oh my god, it's also got Matt Damon in it, Cliff Curtis.
Wait, Matt Damon is in it?
Matt Damon is the voice of Luke Trimble, apparently.
See, I actually haven't seen it in a long time, but I do love it.
Also, Bruce Campbell's in there too. His name's in the cast list.
Roland the Intrepid Explorer. Okay. That's enough to make me want to watch this movie now.
But
Ron Rifkin, I saw him in it too, and Hal Holbrook, and yeah, it's got a great cast. Trying to remember the name of the actor. He won an Oscar for Ed Wood. Martin Landau.
Martin Landau.
Yeah.
So me, I'm going to go for one which is probably going to be a stretch, but I'm curious to see how it's going to go in the long run. I'm going to go for Batman Forever. Look, say what you want about this movie. Jim Carrey is perfect as the Riddler. Like, to me, this was a very comics accurate Riddler, and I just really like, and I think his goofy nature really works for this. And this is probably my second favorite Batman movie of this era of Batman movies. Out of these four, part because I do enjoy it because of the fact that they kind of leaned more into the camp side of things of the character, and because I'm one of those ones that I've seen clips of the Adam West one. I haven't actually sat down and watched that show, but the clips there was like, this is a fun Batman. I don't know why he needs to be dark all the time. But Jacob, what do you say about Batman Forever?
Oh, I'm on board with it. I really enjoy Batman Forever. I don't think superhero movies need to be dark all the time. I don't think they need to be serious. I think there needs to be some level of fun, and nothing just says fun to me more than Jim Carrey as the Riddler. I think he is fantastic in this movie. He makes this movie entertaining. I can watch it and get enjoyment out of it every single time. So it'll get a yes from me.
And Stephen, what would you have said about Batman Forever?
3 for 3 because I love this movie. I think it gets unfairly lumped with Batman and Robin, but I think it's much better than Batman and Robin because this one you have the goofiness and the campiness, but it doesn't go as overboard with it as Batman and Robin, and you still have good character interaction, and so there's enough on both for both. And the cast is great. I love Nicole Kidman in this movie. So yeah, I think it's one of the more underrated Batman movies.
Yeah, and Batman Forever makes this list. Jacob, we go to you next.
Yeah, I'm wondering if I want to go with one that's higher up on my list or try to get one that's lower down. I'll try for one that's lower down. I'll go with The Grinch, How the Grinch Stole Christmas. I think this movie is a fun watch. Does it hold up 20 years later? Probably not for me personally, but I think Jim Carrey still makes this movie enjoyable. Like he is the best part of this movie, far and away, like the best part of this movie. Um, and it's still it's a staple around Christmas time. And he's the main reason for that. Say what you want about this movie. I mean, you can't not watch it and not be entertained by Jim Carrey at least. So I'll throw my shot with the Grinch.
Stephen, what do you say about the Grinch?
All right. I don't hate the movie. Like some people like really love it and some people really hate it. I'm neither. I mean, it's mildly enjoyable, but I'm still gonna have to say no just because I think he's done a lot of other better movies.
Yeah, in this community, there's some people that just hate this movie. Some people just loathe it entirely. But I am neither of those people. I like the Grinch. Like, once again, this is I with Jacob on this. This is kind of really underrated Jim Carrey. Like his performance really leans himself into this. And this is probably my favorite. The Grinch movie. Because I kind of enjoy the original animated one, but I always go to this one if I go to watch a Grinch movie at Christmas. And if I have to pick one to watch, this is the one I go to. This is easily a yes for me. It's going to make this list.
All right,
Stephen, we move to you for your next nomination.
All right, I'll go with probably my favorite performance of his. Definitely, he should have gotten an Oscar nomination for playing Andy Kaufman in Man on the Moon. Great, amazing performance in a very excellent movie. One of definitely in my top 5 for him. So yeah, Man on the Moon is absolutely, I love it.
This is one I knew was going to come up from someone. I tried to find this to watch it, was unsuccessful, so I still haven't seen it. Jacob, have you seen Men on the Moon?
I have as recent as Monday. And I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a really good movie. I love the opening to this movie where I won't spoil it for Malcolm because I think you should watch it. But yeah, no, I think Jim Carrey gives a great performance from the voices that he does to kind of the two different characters that he plays in the movie, sort of. He plays Andy Kaufman playing another character, which I think is fun.
I mean, Andy Kaufman is such an enigma of a person that I don't even know if you could say he's up playing a person.
Yeah, that's fair. And it's got cameos from Jim Ross and Jerry the King Lawler, so that just made it even better for me. So I will give this a yes.
And Man on the Moon does make this list. So on to me. And I'm going to go for the other one he probably should have won the Oscar for, The Truman Show. Look, in the 90s, there's two movies that he was nominated for the Golden Globe for, but yet somehow never got nominated. Actually, I think he won the Golden Globe for those years for both of those, and yet somehow he never got nominated for an Oscar for them. But the Man on the Moon was one of them. Truman Show is the other. Look, this is one that, well, it's more of a dramedy than straight comedy, but either way, it's still a lot of fun. Like when you've got Jim is Truman, who's sort of stuck in this life which is all fake, and definitely shows sort of how fake reality TV can be at times, and how when and then he starts to then all these things happen that starts to question his life around him and all that. It's just a lot of fun, and I think Jim Carrey plays having an existential crisis really great. So Jacob, what do you say about The Truman Show?
First off, can you hear me? Because you guys are kind of freezing on me.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, perfect. Okay, I just want to make sure. I love The Truman Show. I had to watch it for a Battleground match against Austin, and I had never seen it before that. And Oh my goodness. I knew I was in for an uphill battle arguing against this movie after I watched it because it is fantastic. It is great. Um I like how it's definitely like a dramatic slash comedic performance. I think it blends both of those pretty well. And just the story itself is pretty great. I love all the supporting characters in this too. Ed Harris and Paul Giamatti, specifically, I think are fantastic. So yeah, I mean, I watched this and I had to argue against it, and it hurt me. It hurt me to like say bad things about this movie because I think it is really good.
Stephen, what do you say about the Truman Show? And before you start, Brian wants to remind you of this.
I mean, yeah, I was about to say actually. Yeah, according to Tournament Fights, it's my favorite movie of all time. So obviously, I have to say yes.
But that the Truman Show does make this list. And Jacob, we go back to you.
You know what? I'll throw out Me, Myself, and Irene. Another one of his better comedic performances, in my opinion. Again, sort of playing two different characters, and I think it works. I love his performance in this movie. I love the fact that he plays a father figure to three kids that definitely are not his. I don't think there's any any questioning that no, those aren't actually his kids. I think it's fun. I think I like when he goes between the personalities. I think it works really well. I think it's just a very enjoyable, entertaining movie. So Me, Myself, and Irene will be my next nomination.
Stephen, what do you say about Me, Myself, and Irene?
It's not top tier Jim Carrey, but I think it's worthy of being in the, like maybe in the 9 to 12th spot, somewhere around there. So I'll say yes.
That's funny because that's where I have it.
Yeah. I also don't. I do not have it that high. I'm not a big fan of this. I think it's fine, but it's just one of those ones that like just going back to it. It's not to me. This when it comes to comedy, I think this is where Jim Carrey's kind of start losing that last year head in the 90s. I mean, he's kind of went on ebbs and flows from here, um, but yeah, this is just one that I'm not a big fan of, but it's making this list anyway. Stephen, we go to you next.
Okay.
Halfway there already.
Oh, yeah. You know what? I'm going to go for a movie that I know people like the first one a lot. I think the sequel is underrated. It's probably not going to make it through, but I'm going to go for it anyways. Ace Ventura: When Nature Calls, I think is one of the funniest movies of all time. From the opening scene, that's a parody of the movie Cliffhanger, to the slinky scene. It's like, oh, it just misses the last step. So he says then, so he has to do it all over again. And then when he leaves the monetary, and he goes, break it to them gently. And the next scene, they're all partying because he's leaving. This is just one of the funniest movies of all time. I'm not a big fan of the first one, to be honest, but I love the second one. So I'm going with Ace Ventura: When Nature Calls.
First of all, what does Jordan Anderson have on you? And I actually literally just rewatched both of the Ace Ventura movies this morning. I'm still not a big fan of When Nature Calls. Like even the first one quite actually went down on me, but it's just but yeah, When Nature Calls is decent, but and just rewatching it, it just wasn't as good as I remembered it to be. So I'm going to say no on this. Jacob, what do you say about Ace Ventura: When Nature Calls?
I call myself a Jim Carrey fan, but I have never actually seen either of the Ace Ventura movies. I tried to watch them, but they were only available for rent, and I was like, well, I don't want to watch them that badly.
With
I
that
do,
Ace Ventura,
but I had to try.
but with that Ace Ventura: When Nature Calls is not making this list. So it's on me. No, I'm gonna try for this. It is. I don't know how this is gonna go because this is literally fairly recent, but so I don't know if you guys have seen it. It came out a week earlier for me. Sonic the Hedgehog 2 is actually pretty good. I'm not gonna say much about it. I'm gonna say, have either of you seen it?
I haven't seen it yet.
I thought the first one was mediocre, so I don't even know if I'm going to bother watching it.
I will say, give it a shot because like Jim Carrey, it's actually a lot better. But yeah, so what I'm going to do is, just because neither of you seen it, I'm not going to bother talking about this too much just because I don't want to spoil it for anyone. I'm just going to bring up another one, and I'm going to bring up Yes Man, because I think this is, like, when it comes to sort of recent Jim Carrey comedy, this is one that really gets overlooked. I wish I had a chance to actually rewatch this before this, but I didn't get around to it. But Zoe Deschanel and Jim Carrey have a really good connection in this, and this is just one of those movies which I think is a lot of fun, and like and it's one of those ones that in life it's one that people should strive to do. Like, obviously, don't say yes to everything that leads you running into burning buildings and stuff like that, but just try and say yes to more stuff, and don't just be one of those person that just stays at home, does nothing. But Jacob, are you saying yes to Yes Man?
I am saying yes to Yes Man. When I was putting my list together, this one it just snuck in there as one of the last choices. I remember really enjoying this movie. I haven't seen it in a while, but I do remember really enjoying this movie. I really enjoyed Jim Carrey and Zoe Deschanel. I think they worked really well together. I think I need to give it a rewatch because like I said, I do remember really enjoying it, and I want to give it a revisit. But yes, to Yes Man.
And Stephen, what did you said about Yes Man?
Yeah, Yes Man is in the same level of Me, Myself, and Irene, where I would say yes, but it's like in the 9 to 12 spot, somewhere around there.
But with that, Jacob, we go back to you.
Yeah. You know what? I'll bring it up. Eternal Sunshine. I think it was inevitable that it was going to make the list. I think it was just when is it going to get brought up? I'll go ahead and bring it up. I think this is a wonderful movie. I think Jim Carrey and oh my goodness, why is her name escaping me?
Kate Winslet.
Kate Winslet. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Talk about a big brain fire. I think they have wonderful chemistry. I think all the other supporting characters, Elijah Wood, Kirsten Dunst, I think they are fantastic. I really enjoy the story. This was the movie I chose when arguing against the Truman Show. So, I'm really high on this movie as well. It is. I think it's a really good dramatic performance, and it was something different from Jim Carrey for me personally that I had seen from him when I watched this for the first time, because it was always more of his comedies that I watched before viewing this. So I really enjoy the performance. I really enjoy the movie. And yeah, I think it's got to make the list. Otherwise, Jordan Owens is never coming on the show again.
Stephen, what do you say about Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind?
No, I'm kidding. Of course it's yes. I mean, besides, you mentioned Kirsten Dunst and Elijah Wood, but Tom Wilkinson is great
Oh,
in
yeah.
it. Mark Ruffalo. Yeah, absolutely love it. So it's definitely a yes.
I was hoping you guys say no and leave it up to me and build suspense. So I just want to see what Jordan Owens would have said if it didn't make the list. but but yeah, I mean, I would have said yes anyway, because this is a great movie. Like, I would be betraying sort of my own feelings on the movie if I said no to it. Because I really do love this movie. This is a Jim Carrey movie that I didn't expect. And this is like just like Jacob, I came to this really late. That I think I just saw this for the first time a couple years ago. But yeah, Eternal Sunshine is good. And yeah, so it's making this list. Jordan Owens doesn't have to send me death threats. Um, Stephen, what is your next nomination?
So we're surprisingly running out of spots. I mean, there's only like
Four spots left.
Yeah, 4 spots left. Damn. No, I'm gonna go with another one that's kind of on the same level as Yes Man and Me, Myself, and Irene, but I really enjoy it, and that's Fun with Dick and Jane. Um, he and Tia Leone are great in it. Alec Baldwin. I never would have expected Richard Jenkins to be as funny as he is in this movie. So, yeah, I really enjoyed Fun with Dick and Jane. So that's the next one I'm bringing up.
Yeah, Fun with Dick and Jane. I actually do have a lot of fun with this movie. It's a good movie. This one seems to get a lot of hate for some reason. I don't know. Like, this is one of those movies that it's good. And I mean, I think it was about the time. It was definitely about N1 or that definitely had the undertone of this, but I think there was another one that actually fell apart around the time this movie was released. But this one this one just takes a serious thing and then just makes a very big comedic spin on it. And half the stuff that they do just to get money is just a lot of fun. But yeah, this is a yes for me. Jacob, what would you have said about Fun with Dick and Jane?
I would have given it a slight no, but not because I don't like the movie, but just because it fell like in that 13th slot for me. I do enjoy the movie. Like you said, I think some of the ways they get the money is a lot of fun. I'm not upset that it's on the list because I do think it's a fun movie. But I would just like a slight no, like it was at number 13 for me.
It's on me. And we've got 3 spots left, and there's about at least 3 movies I'm looking at that haven't been brought up that should be on here. And so I'm going to bring one of them up now. I'm going to bring up Dumb and Dumber. This is like, once again, this was released in, I think it was in the same year, or it was in the I know. Well, it was definitely in that spate of 3 movie cycle because it was The Mask, Dumb and Dumber,
Yep.
and Ace Ventura, all within
94.
Oh, they're all 94. Okay,
They were all 94.
But yeah, and um, and it was just and it's just definitely one of those movies which does stand the test of time. This is one I did want to actually rewatch before this, but just ran out of time. But yeah, I mean, Jeff Daniels and Jim really do have this great duo. Um, and I wish they didn't try to do a sequel to to this. Because I mean, for the longest, because this is one of those ones for the longest time. Jim Carrey had said he's not doing any more sequels after In Nature Calls. But since then, he's done more sequels lately to his other movies, which is weird. I know there's rumored to be a third Ace Ventura one, but now with him potentially retiring, it's unknown if he will come back for that now. um, but yeah, Jacob, what do you say about Dumb and Dumber?
Oh, absolutely. I go back and forth between this and The Mask on which one I like more. Like, I think The Mask is a better movie, but I think Dumb and Dumber is funnier and more entertaining, if that makes sense. But yeah, like it's quintessential Jim Carrey. Like when you think Jim Carrey, you think Dumb and Dumber. So easy yes.
And Stephen, what do you say about Dumb and Dumber?
I recently watched Siskel and Ebert's review for the movie, and I don't think either of them particularly cared for it. But Ebert was a little bit more softer on it than Siskel because he admitted that he did laugh out loud, really funny, at the scene when he sells the blonde kid the dead parakeet. That is. Yeah, so it's definitely yes. It's absolutely one of the funniest movies I've ever seen, and those two are just perfect together.
But Jacob, what is your next nomination?
Ooh, 2 spots left, and there's 3 in my top 12. Oh, I'll just go with the one that's the highest up, and that's Liar Liar. I think Liar Liar is hilarious. I think it's a fun premise, and I think he absolutely kills it in this performance. When he gets into a fight with himself, I think is hilarious. Just all the times when he's trying to lie and he can't. Like it's hilarious when he gets pulled over. I think that's hilarious when he opens the glove box and all the parking tickets fall out. The pen was indeed blue, and Liar Liar should make this list, I think.
Stephen, what do you say about Liar Liar?
It'll probably make the list. I've never been as big on this movie as most people. I think it's a great concept, and there's some funny moments, but I don't know. I just feel like it's not as good as it could have been, and it does get really sappy at the end, and it's okay. But I would still go no, even though I'm sure it'll end up through.
Yeah, this is tough moves. I really do love Liar Liar. It's definitely it's great. It's technically my 13, but just because Sonic 2's recent, it's going to move up. So yeah, it just barely makes the list. I'm gonna give it like because on my personal list I've got Sonic 2 in it, but it's like with us just sort of striking that one, I just everything sort of moved up for me. But yeah, I really do like this is one that I do go back to, and because I had a list of movies that I wanted to rewatch for this. I didn't really do a lot of sort of new watches just because a lot of the ones I haven't seen, I just couldn't find anywhere. but um, but ultimately, I decided to go into this with my memory of a lot of these, and yeah, I remember really enjoying Liar Liar, so it is making this list. Steven, we move to you.
1 spot left.
I'll try this. I really like The Cable Guy, and I think Jim Carrey's performance is great in it. It's very clever and funny satire, and the Matthew Broderick is also great in it, and yeah, really. I think Ben Stiller directed this, didn't he?
I believe so.
Yes.
Yeah, it's not my favorite Ben Stiller directed movie because I really love the Secret Life of Water movie, but it's not too distant of a second for him, and yeah, so I'm gonna go with the Kibble Guy.
Yeah, this is an easy no for me. Jim Carrey's performance in this is good, but ultimately, I just don't like the movie a lot. I think it's definitely lower tier for me, and it's not even close. Jacob, what do you say about the Cable Guy?
I haven't seen it.
It doesn't make this list. It moves over to me. And yeah, I think we'll be all mad with ourselves if we miss probably one of the better Jim Carrey movies. He goes a bit dark in this. It's a crime that is one brought up earlier. I'm going to bring up Dark Crimes. Not seriously.
I haven't seen it, but I've heard nothing but bad things about it.
It doesn't have a 0% on Rotten Tomatoes.
I believe so. Yeah, no, I haven't seen it as well. I was just hoping Austin was watching. So I think he because it came up in, I think it was it came up in the worst movies tournament fights summary. It was definitely in one of those.
Yeah, but No Country for Old Men also came up on that. So how serious can you take that list?
Wait, are you talking about the one they got to pick the worst movies, or the
Yeah. No,
I was talking about the earlier version of that,
okay.
where they took a lot of the bottom.
You think I remember because I was on that episode.
I know, but yeah. But anyway, there's one spot left. I don't know which one I'm going to go for. I'm going to try for this because Bruce Almighty is a really good movie, and I think Jim Carrey does a really great performance about this. It definitely shows about what would happen if a guy randomly gets given all the powers of God and has to sort of use them wisely, which he really doesn't for the most part. He used them to make Steve Carell talk like a buffoon on news radio and makes his girlfriend's breasts bigger. But yeah, like Jim Carrey and Jennifer Aniston have a really good connection. I actually want to see them do more movies together because I think they may actually make a really good couple. But yeah, I think it's good. A lot of the supporting cast is good, like Morgan Freeman as God, Steve Carell as as I can't remember what his name is now, but yeah, Jacob, what do you say about Bruce Almighty?
This is tough because this is in my personal top 12, but I have one that's higher. So I'm gonna say no, even though I really enjoy the movie and I think it's great, and I'll put it on Steven and put the pressure on him. So if it makes the list, I won't be upset. But if it doesn't, I can still bring up the other movie that I have.
Steven, what do you say about Bruce Almighty?
I'm kind of intrigued to know what the other one could possibly be. Because most of his, like popular, well-known ones have already been said. funny story. I have a list. I made a list of all the Jim Carrey movies I've seen, and I put either an X or a check mark. And so from Bruce Almighty, I put a maybe, and I put a maybe because it's right on the cusp for me. Because I don't love it, but I don't dislike it. I think they could have done more with the premise, but it's funny. If this had been brought up earlier, it would have been a no. But since as far as I know, we're totally out of options, I'll give it a slight yes.
But that Bruce Almighty does make the list. Jacob, what are some honorable mentions that you had?
Well, you brought up Sonic the Hedgehog 2. I would have brought up the first one. That was the other one that I had. But I'm not upset with Bruce Almighty making the list at all. So Sonic the Hedgehog, I like him in Kick-Ass 2. I think he's good. And even though the movie is not received well by most, I think the number 23 is actually really good.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I did consider bringing up Sonic the Hedgehog, but Stephen sort of said he wasn't really that into it. I didn't because I wasn't too sure how that was going to go.
Yeah, I probably would have made it because you both like it. So,
but anyway, Stephen, what are some honorable mentions that you had?
I mean, I know I'm in the minority, but I actually enjoyed Dumb and Dumber 2. And I was kind of out of options. The Incredible Burt Wonderstone is okay. But there's one more left that I do like a lot. But it's really only just but it's a very, very minor small part because he plays the adult version of the best friend of the title character in
Simon Birch.
Yeah. So if it had gone back to me, I probably would have had to go with Simon Birch because that actually is a really good movie.
But yeah, I actually really do like Simon Birch. It's been a while since I've seen it. Because I think when I last saw it, I caught it on TV once and haven't been able to find it anywhere else. I think the one that most people are probably going to pick on is the fact that we don't have the first Ace Ventura on here. But once again, after what Stephen said about when he brought up the sequel, I didn't want to try for that. Another one which I think does actually get unfairly criticized is Lemony Snicket's A Series of Unfortunate Events. Jim Carrey is great as Count Olaf. And while the movie itself definitely could have been better, I would have loved to see the sequels and see how they would have done all the other books in the series in movie form. Because I know that the TV series made it better. And the last one I'm going to sort of say is I think it was great in The Christmas Carol as well. I think that's another one that is really underrated. But with that, what we have on this list, we have The Mask, Batman Forever, The Grinch, Man on the Moon, The Truman Show, Me, Myself, and Irene, Yes Man, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, Fun with Dick and Jane, Dumb and Dumber, Lila and Bruce Almighty. And in the chat, ones that people are saying, Horton Here's a Who is one that's come up, and Brian really enjoys Mr. Popper's Penguins.
Actually, I haven't seen that one.
Oh, I completely forgot to mention Horton Hears a Who. It was one of those that was battling for that 12th spot.
Another movie I haven't seen that people seem to like a lot is I Love You, Philip Morris.
I wanted to watch that one. I just didn't get around to it.
I mean, that's another one that I've heard a bit about that I wanted to watch for this, just didn't get around to it. Same with number 23. Is like both of those I wanted to watch, but either couldn't find anywhere or just didn't have time to watch it.
Yeah. Here for me, like I Love You, Philip Morris was only available on Tubi. Like it's not available anywhere else, just Tubi. Unless you want to rent it.
All right, now we get to the fun part where we get to rank these movies. We're going to write on the whiteboards what we want at 12 and all that. And I'm glad, unlike last week, I don't have to spend ages writing out really long banners that may not fit into one. Because I think last week at least all but one of the Visiting Real quotes fit on one banner neatly. But Jacob, what do you have for 12?
I have Fun with Dick and Jane.
Stephen.
Bruce Almighty.
So we're starting off a three-way tie. I'll put me, myself, and Irene. So I'm going to go to the chat. Me, myself, Irene, Bruce Almighty, or Fun with Dick and Jane. Which one do you... but the first...
Are you talking to us, Malcolm?
I was talking to the chat.
Okay.
I forgot I had my mic muted. But while I'm doing that, I'm going to get up the reel.
Well, I think I heard the dogs, and it sounded like Fun with Dick and Jane.
I mean, I could change my vote if you wanted to me to.
Oh, no. I was more talking just to buy time. But me, myself, and Irene is going to be at 12.
If I was going to choose my vote, that's what I would have chosen.
That's my personal number 10, so it's not too far off. Just means I don't have to erase my board yet.
But I've got a feeling we might have another three-way tie unless someone's changed their board. Jacob, what do you have at 11?
Fun with Dick and Jane still.
Stephen.
Well, it'll probably still be. I changed it, but it'll probably still be a three-way tie. Liar, liar.
It's actually not, because I put liar.
You guys. Oh that one hurts a little bit.
I didn't put Bruce. I didn't put Liar Liar before because it sounded like you both love the movie. So it's like, do I really want to put it if there's no chance of it getting?
I mean, I did say it's my number 13. So.
Oh.
But Stephen, what do you have at 10?
Going back to Bruce Almighty.
Um,
I have The Grinch.
Fun with Dick and Jane.
So we get another three-way tie. So chat, do you want The Grinch, Fun with Dick and Jane, or Bruce Almighty at number 10. The first comment I see will be the one that gets in there. I'll have a.
Let me go.
The first comment that I see that's not Jacob or Stephen.
Star Drew said Bruce Almighty.
I'll take it. Bruce Almighty will be 10. Where's my board? I have no idea. But Stephen, what do you have at 9?
Well, even though I like it more than The Grinch, I decided to, since the last few haven't gone his way, I'll go with Jacob. Fun with Dick and Jane.
Oh, the question is, did I change?
I'm still got The Grinch. Jacob.
I did stick with the Fun with Dick and Jane.
Fun with Dick and Jane is going to be at 9. And but yeah, the big red fella's not happy for our list.
I mean, what would you put over it?
Yeah. But Steve, I've still got The Grinch. Jacob, what do you have for 8?
The Grinch.
Stephen.
Well, we're all in agreement. How the Grinch Stole Christmas.
I love how we went from going freeway ties and suddenly all agreeing on The Grinch. This is probably not going to happen, but unfortunately, I like the other ones more. Jacob, what do you have at 7?
Yes, man.
Stephen.
I also have Yes Man.
I've got Eternal Sunshine.
Ooh.
All right, what is left?
What's left? We have The Mask, Batman Forever, Man on the Moon, The Truman Show, Eternal Sunshine, and Dumb and Dumber.
All right, well, as much as I love this movie, I guess I gotta go with this.
Stephen, what do you have at 6?
Batman Forever.
Eternal Sunshine.
Batman Forever.
I'm still sticking with Eternal Sunshine. Jacob.
Man on the Moon.
Stephen.
Well, as much as I love this movie, I went with The Mask.
Ooh.
Another three-way tie, but the first comment I see in the chat, that says either Eternal Sunshine, Man on the Moon, or The Mask. That will be the movie that gets 5. And I'll get the wheel up just already, but I may not need to use it.
Star Drew said Man on the Moon.
Yep, I saw that. Also, it's just Man on the Moon, no the.
Yeah, isn't the Man on the Moon that movie with Reese Witherspoon?
Yep. No, it's more of a reference to last night's Schmodown. If you watched it, yet.
Oh yeah.
Actually,
I think that's The Man in the Moon, is it? Or I can't remember.
Either way, it doesn't have Jim Carrey in it. But Stephen, what do you have it for?
Sticking with The Mask.
Sticking with Eternal Sunshine.
I figured we might have a three-way tie, as I said, Dumb and Dumber.
And once again, Dumb and Dumber, The Mask, or Eternal Sunshine. Which of these three do you want to be at number 4, chat? So just by Stardew's comment, I'm assuming he's going to go Dumb and Dumber, but the first comment I see that says either Eternal Sunshine, The Mask, or Dumb and Dumber is what's and Stardrew said Eternal. Well, we said Eternals, but I'm assuming meaning Eternal Sunshine.
No, Eternals is a completely different movie. He wasn't in that superhero movie.
Although in saying that, I don't know who he would have played, but it would have been interesting to see.
I will say that our top 4 is my personal top 4 too, just not in the same order. So
I can't quite say that because, well, maybe top 5. No, actually, maybe even top 6. But it's like in a different order.
My number 2 ended up all the way down at 7. But Jacob, what do you have at 3?
Dumb and Dumber.
Stephen.
Keeping The Mask.
So we've got 3 moves left. Is it going to be a three-way tie? It is not. The Mask. And instead of going for our number 2, we're going to go straight to number 1.
Can't be no tie this time.
Nope. I mean, it could be. So, someone couldn't be just. So I just wrote them both on the board. Jacob.
The Dumb and Dumber Truman Show. No, just I got the Truman Show.
Stephen.
The Truman Show.
The Truman Show.
think this might be the first time I've been on one of these where my number one ended up as the number one. So that's fun.
It's also my personal number one.
It's my personal number one as far as Jim Carrey goes. Yep. Of course, my number two didn't even make the cut.
Oh.
But with
Nobody saw
that, but with that, just to recap the list, at number 12, we've got Me, Myself, and Irene. At 11, we've got Liar, Liar. At 10, we've got Bruce Almighty. At 9, we've got Fun with Dick and Jane. At 8, we got The Grinch. At 7, we got Yes Man. At 6, we got Batman Forever. At 5, we got Man on the Moon. At 4, we got Eternal Sunshine. At 3, we got The Mask. At 2, we got Dumb and Dumber. And number 1, we got The Truman Show. But with that, that was a lot of fun.
I think this is the shortest ranking I've ever been on.
It's definitely close. I mean, as what if Brian is still on chat, will probably say that it's not. Because I think Quentin Tarantino acting performances might have been the shortest one. But Brian will remind us, remind me of that for sure. Because, but Jacob, where can people find you online?
Yeah, you can find me over on the Movie Hero Network. I do tournament fights and tier rank over there a lot. I also host a couple shows myself. I have a podcast about movies that I do with Austin Howell. We just did an episode yesterday about the Razzies got it wrong. So nominations in sort of the big 4 categories that we don't agree with. So actor, actress, director, and worst picture. And it was a lot of fun. Next week we're gonna do movies that should have got a sequel. So that's gonna be a lot of fun. I also have a wrestling podcast on the channel called the Lonely Marks Podcast, where we just talk about wrestling. We just did an episode about tag teams. So that's over on the channel, and yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, I hope The Mask is brought up, because that really should have got a sequel. Same with Dumb and Dumber, that really should have got a sequel.
Shouldn't have even got a prequel.
But Steve, where can people find you online?
I mean, I would bring up they should have done a sequel to Unbreakable, not the one that we got. Works for me. I mean, yeah, I'll be on the Movie Hero Network on Wednesday for tournament fights from Best Picture nominees 1977 to 1999. And you can find me at Letterboxd at Best Shepherd 82.
And yeah, you can find me all over the place. You'll find me next week actually touring about on Mancom, which if whatever wins the poll, because they'll be up shortly. But you can also I'll also be on the Movie Hero Network this week. I'll be on the Womcom episode this week on Tuesday, and all over the place. And you can also find me hosting trivia over on Full Metal, where I host Formula Random. I'm taking a little bit of break just to get some things written before, and just to sort of get my head together. But yeah, until next time, keep listing shit.